Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Aztec 101. So I want to talk about Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. now that it's official. We still got a few months till the fight actually happens, but I mean, from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of attention. A lot of people are watching everything. They're watching everything. I mean, there's more videos about Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence than there are about an upcoming fight between Pacquiao and Broner, which is it's insane because Pacquiao versus Broner 5, 6 years ago would be a huge fight. I mean that would be one of the most anticipated fights of that year. But right now, no one really cares. I think maybe because it's weird. Pacquiao versus Broner and Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. I mean, both of these fights are fights we already know the outcome of. Yet we're treating them like one is is somehow more interesting than the other. I don't know what it is. They're both fights that we can predict. You know, we kind of already see the outcome with our eyes closed. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of people that have faith in Mikey Garcia beating Spence, right? Me personally, I'm a guy. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I don't believe Mikey Garcia can beat Errol Spence. You know, I think Mikey Garcia is a great fighter. He's a good fighter. His resume is so. You know, it's not super impressive. You know, he's going on 40 fights. He's getting close to 40 fights. He's undefeated, but as far as names on his resume, it's not really impressive. Now, if he beats Errol Spence, that's I mean, he's going for glory right now. He's going for glory. Honestly, in this fight, it's not a fair fight. You know, on so many levels, it's not a fair fight. From one perspective, you got um, Mikey Garcia, right? Mikey Garcia is fighting a larger fighter. Errol Spence, he's the type of guy that could be fighting at 154. He's calling out Canelo for God's sake. He's calling out Triple G. He knows he can make this that weight, but he wants to beat the guys at 147, the guys that are smaller than him. I mean, Mikey Garcia is easy pickings. Right now, this is not a fair fight. It's in Errol Spence's hometown, and I don't see this going. Errol Spence is supposed to win. Like that's what's supposed to happen in this fight. There's no really threat of any other outcome, right? That's why it's not fair for Mikey. But it's also not fair for Errol Spence. Because Errol Spence, I mean, he already lost walking into this fight. He's fighting the smaller guy. He's got to destroy him. He can't just let Mikey Garcia win rounds and end up in the 12th round. I mean, this cannot go 12 rounds. Not with all the hype that's being pushed behind Errol Spence. And check this out. Like, even though I think there's there's a lot of hype behind Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a skillful fighter. He's smart. He's very technical. Um, he's a great fighter. I mean, at 147, he's a threat. Definitely a threat. Is he a boogeyman? I think that's where the hype comes from. Is label trying to maintain that label of boogeyman, right? But let's be honest, you're not gonna be able to maintain the label of boogeyman by fighting guys like Mikey Garcia. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think this is it's all it is it's an unfair fight for both of them. Errol Spence pretty much is put in a position where he can't let this go to a decision. He has to knock out Mikey Garcia. If he doesn't, his career depends on it. That's a lot of responsibility to walk into a fight against, you know, a fighter that is constantly moving up and down the weight divisions, who's used to fighting larger opponents, smaller opponents, you know, is used to going the 12 rounds, um, fighting a very technical fight. I mean, I can see why this is kind of tough because for Errol Spence, I mean, if he doesn't knock him out, if this goes 12 rounds, even if he outboxes him, I really think that that's enough for people to say, hey, maybe there might be a little bit of a hype behind him. Just because everyone's saying that Mikey Garcia is going to get demolished. Like, he's going to get fucked up. And I'm telling you, if Mikey Garcia lasts 12 rounds and doesn't get knocked down, um, and puts on a good show, honestly, he wins even if he loses. So there's very little to lose on Mikey Garcia's side if he lasts all 12 rounds. But if he gets the only angle that I see where Mikey Garcia gets backlash is if he gets fucked up and does not put on a good performance. Like if he gives up, if he pulls a Rigondeaux, you know, that's gonna look bad. If he pulls a Rigondeaux, you go and you talk shit, say that you could beat this guy, and then you quit. That's gonna look bad, you know. But as long as he puts on a good fight and he swings until he gets knocked out, even if he gets knocked out, he's gonna. I think he already demanded people's respect, and I think he already earned it. And it's gonna carry on to other fights. If Mikey Garcia loses and decides to fight Lomachenko, all the Errol Spence fans I think will be supporting Mikey Garcia. Um, as long as he doesn't embarrass himself. And another thing I want to say too is shout out to Zapata Boxing. Shout out to Zapata Boxing. He put up. Go check out his last video. He touched on Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence, and one of the things he was talking about was, uh, this whole Mexican pride shit. Like, I just wanted to agree with him and also add on to it. I'm noticing that there's a lot of I would say casual or new boxing fans, right? Guys that probably know of Mikey Garcia, but they're very interested in this fight right now because there's a lot of hype behind it. And I'm starting to notice a lot of Chicano boxing fans starting to put Mikey Garcia's name, next to other Mexican greats like Eric Morales and Barrera and Marquez. Mikey Garcia is nowhere near that yet. Even if he beats Errol Spence, we do not know if Errol Spence is nothing but a hype job. You got to let Mikey Garcia develop. You got to let his opponents' careers develop before you start putting them in the position of Eric Morales or Barrera or anybody. Fuck, as of right now, I don't know if he's any better than Zab Judah. I don't know yet. And this whole Mexican pride shit, here's the thing, man. I'm gonna be I'm rooting for. Don't get it twisted. I'm rooting for Mikey Garcia. I want him to win. I'm gonna be rooting for him. Just because I predict that he won't doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be pleasantly surprised if he wins. I'm gonna be very happy. I'm gonna be rooting for him the whole fight. But I'm also not gonna be disappointed when he loses, because I'm looking at what's right in front of me. Um, and that whole pride shit, it doesn't win fights. It doesn't. And at the end of the day, there's honestly a better way to express it than to have to make it racial too. It's another thing I want to throw in there. Like, show some respect, right? At the end of the day, Mikey Garcia is campaigning not just for the fan base from other Chicanos, but he's campaigning for fan base from different nationalities. You can't burn bridges for Mikey Garcia and think that it's going to be easy for him to market to other type of other fan bases, other communities. Um, you know, it's a small world, and the internet makes it even smaller. So, at the end of the day, there's no need for any racial talk when it's just a fight between one and two people. It's one on one. That's it. All right. Unless you're stepping into the ring, well, what the fuck is the point of making it a race war or some shit? You know. That shit at the end of the day looks corny as fuck. Anyways, it looks corny from anybody that does it. But other than that, I mean, shit. Look, the one thing I do see is it's great that Chicanos can depend on Chicano fighters can depend on their fan base sticking with them, even if they're facing an impossible task, because those are the type of tasks that turn you into legends. And the fact that we have a solid fan base that's willing to stick with you through the thick and thin, it does give our fighters in our community a little bit more freedom to take risks, you know, and at the end of the day, that's what boxing needs: fighters that are willing to take risks. And even if Errol Spence loses this fight, hopefully his fan base doesn't ditch him. If he ends up looking bad, hopefully his fan base doesn't ditch him. I'm more of a fan of Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman is a better welterweight, and I think Errol Spence is the guy that's in the way. But now that Terrence Crawford is there, and now you got Mikey Garcia in there. I mean, since these guys aren't fighting each other, I really don't know. I don't know. And since Keith Thurman has been gone for so long, yeah, I'm curious to see what he's gonna do with Josecito Lopez. Um, I think it's good that there's a lot of attention towards this fight, but let's not hype it up to be something that it's not. This is not an even matchup. This is not a 50-50 fight. This is a fight that we already know the outcome of. Just like, you know, Manny Pacquiao and Broner. We already know the outcome. So, and at the end of the day, I thought Errol Spence was gonna, supposedly, wasn't he gonna fight fucking Sean Porter or Danny Garcia or the winner of the rematch? I mean, that was all talk, right? They're all without Heyman. Somehow, somehow, the only reasonable fight to make, since everyone's been asking for Errol Spence to fight, someone that's notable, the only fight they could think of was Mikey Garcia. And that fight got made quick. What does that say about everyone else? Is Keith Thurman really that much of a pussy? Is Sean Porter really that much of a pussy where they're not willing to do what Mikey Garcia is doing right now? Like, is Terrence Crawford that much of a pussy? Like, is that what we're saying? What's going on here? I know what's going on here. Mike Garcia got paid, and right now he's in there to lose. He's gonna have to pull a miracle. He's gonna have to. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Tell me what you guys think. This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.